Yo, what's up? Welcome to Funny Games Daily for Monday, March 7th, 2022. I'm one of your hosts, Blessing Adeoye Jr. Joining me is Lil Croy Poppy himself, aka my fellow Forbes 30 under 30, aka Tim motherfucking Geddes.
Let's him host, Bless. How was your weekend?
Weekend was good. I had a very chill Saturday, played a lot of
Cool.
Elden Ring, which was nice. And then yesterday, went to see the Batman, which is really fun. Pretty
Ooh.
cool movie, I will say so myself. I had a good time
Mhm.
during that. And then afterwards, I started character creation for my first ever D&D campaign that I'm doing. It's technically not
Oh.
D&D, it's a different game. It's called Blades in the Dark, which is more Dishonored like. But yeah, like I did like a weird one shot a few weeks ago with some homies, Stella in that crew. And I was like, damn, this is a fun time. Maybe I should actually do some sort of tabletop role playing game. And then I hit up some friends that are very into that stuff, and they're like, "Yo, let's make it happen." And so I did that yesterday. Let me tell you, that was really fun. I had a
Hell
really good
yeah.
time doing that. Yeah, I think I might have found a new hobby.
That's awesome. We're gonna do a kind of funny D&D thing at some point, maybe in the new studio. We'll see.
Hell yeah, hell
But
yeah.
I can't wait. That sounds like a lot of fun, Bless. I'm happy you're getting into it.
How was your weekend?
It was great. It was
Yeah.
fantastic. So many fun video games to play, so many fun TV shows to watch. I slept a lot. Oh, that was good.
Did you boot
Still
up
tired
Sekiro at
though.
all?
I did not. I did not.
Mm,
Sekiro's been like kind of beating me down. After the whole Sifu Platinum, and then we just did the Sifu race. There's been a lot of like challenging things. I'm like, I need a little bit more
mm.
chill games in my life right now. Barrett's been talking about Musical Story, and I'm thinking about popping into that. So
Oh,
excited. That might
that's
be
one that
my
I
this
wanna
week
I wanna
game.
pop into too. It's funny because like not even funny. It's interesting because it feels like there's so many video games out right now where
Yeah.
like I've been spending so much time in Elden Ring. When we first got Elden Ring, I was like, oh yeah, this would be a 30-hour game. I'm now close to 70 hours in Elden Ring, and it's just not stopping. I still have a lot to do in that game. But like I'm juggling that. I just got WWE 2K that
I
I
was
really
playing
want to
that this
play
weekend
too.
too.
Yeah, and so like I booted that up for maybe about 30 minutes yesterday, and I want to play more, but it's that thing where I boot up my PS5, I see the dashboard, and it's like, all right, well, WWE 2K is sitting next to Elden Ring, and like whenever I see Elden Ring, I'm like, fuck, I want to play Elden Ring, but I also want to be Rey Mysterio, I want to go
Yeah.
hang out with Eddie Guerrero and do all that fun
Dude,
stuff.
I will say, man, we're gonna talk more about WWE on the Gamescast that we record later this week. But I haven't played too much of it. But initial impressions are it's overwhelming. It's
It
very
is.
overwhelming in a way that I don't like. But there's a showcase mode that essentially just goes through Rey Mysterio's career, and you play his iconic matches. And it's cool because they want you to do specific objectives of like things that he actually did in the match. And when
Mhm.
you do it, it transitions into footage of the actual match. And
That's
I'm
like
like,
some Metal Gear Solid 4 shit,
it's
right? Where
pretty
it's
cool.
like,
It's
"Oh,
pretty
shit, like, this is
cool.
the actual thing." No, like, I'm actually it's funny because I didn't know what to expect because I know they took the year off of WWE 2K because the previous one was such a trash fire, and,
Mhm.
like, that comes to the expectation of, "Alright, is this gonna be the one that changes everything? Do they modernize it? Do they make it better?" But also, like, the process for us getting codes was so up to the like, down to the wire where I'm sure this is gonna be the Gamescast that we record this week, but, like, the embargo, I believe, was this morning. I think the embargo already passed, and
Yeah,
we got the code
we got codes at
Sunday.
7 a.m. and the embargo was 3 a.m.
Yeah, which is,
Yeah,
like which is ridiculous and had me convinced that, like, "Oh, this game must be a trash fire then. This must be, like, a terrible time." And, like, I've only
yeah.
played, again, like, 30 minutes or so I cannot speak to the quality of the game at all, but I was pleasantly I when I booted up the showcase mode, I was like, "Oh, shit. Alright, I can see myself getting into this because
See,
they start off with the interviews with Rey Mysterio, and I'm like, "Fuck, man. I'm
yeah,
into this because this is bringing me back."
I think
Someone's
that
at the front
the
door.
showcase mode it might be the highlight for me because I
Yeah.
popped into a couple of the other boats and I was like, oh no. But hey, I just played for a little bit. So we'll talk about that on Gamescast
We'll
later.
talk about it later. For now, Tim, I want to hop in to a question from patreon.com/kindafunnygames where you can write in to get the show ad free and get in your questions just like Sean Childers did. Sean wrote in to say, what makes a good ham sandwich? And why is peanut butter jelly time such a jam? Also, peanut butter jelly and ham sandwich, yay or nay? Tim, I liked seeing this in the question bag
hmm
this morning because
hmm
like people don't write in with non-gaming questions enough, and I was like, I really do want to discuss
It's
this
not the
discuss
show,
this
yeah.
one because it's not the show, but nonetheless, I wanted to talk about this. Tim, where are you at? You think a good ham sandwich is good?
Oh my god, I am a ham enthusiast for sure, and a peanut butter and jelly enthusiast. Now, a
Mm,
peanut butter jelly and ham enthusiast, that is something I cannot say that I am, but I will say I'm not going to knock the hustle until I try it because I recently had a peanut butter and jelly burger and
Oh, okay.
it was phenomenal. It was like the special on a menu at a restaurant we went to, and I was like, that sounds crazy, but I don't know. I'm gonna try it, and it was a risk, and it paid off.
What was good? What was the experience like? Describe this to me. Was it just that like savory sweet at the same time
Yeah.
that hit?
Yeah, I'm telling
Oh,
you, man,
okay.
it was way. I was you once,
Okay.
and then I had this, and I was like, whoa, I'm a changed man. And so now the thing that changed me isn't every time I get a burger I want peanut butter and jelly on it. That's not what changed me. What changed me is my ability to be open to the idea and concept of peanut butter and jelly meshing with other things. So the idea of ham being mixed with that doesn't sound wild to me
Sounds
anymore.
disgusting. That's and
Yeah.
I'm gonna be Sean Childers. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be the person that tries it before I knock or that knocks it before I try it because that
Yeah.
sounds disgusting. I'm also like, granted, I'm not the target audience because I'm also not that big into a ham sandwich. I do love myself a peanut butter and jelly, but like, when it comes to ham sandwich, usually I'll just skip out. I'll choose whatever else is available. And so
Mm.
adding peanut butter and jelly on top of that sounds like the worst time ever. But hey, I respect it. I respect it. Now, before we actually get into the show proper, I do have one more thing. Kevin, if you're able to pull up, I do want to do a quick check-in with Metacricket
Mm.
because apparently this Twitter account is part of the show now. I missed an episode, and all of a sudden we're praising a fucking Twitter account that just came out of nowhere called Metacricket that tells us if games are good or not. And it looks like this morning Metacricket did tweet out that Titanfall 2 is good.
Awesome. We can finally know. It's been years, but the cricket has spoken.
Why is
There you go.
Why is Metacricket a grasshopper?
I had the same question.
Go to the profile, Kevin. Go to the profile.
I had the same question. Nobody could give me a good answer. Here you go.
It's a
Kevin's pulled
cricket
up.
in quotes. It's not actually a cricket.
Okay.
Y'all got played.
Okay. I
Yeah,
don't know if
remember,
that
Kevin,
really solves the issue, but all right.
Metacricket is the ticket. Don't forget that.
Yeah, how could I?
Metacricket is the ticket. And with that, let's get into today's show because today's stories include Forspoken being delayed, a rumored state of play, and more because this is Kinda Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday at 10 a.m. live right here on twitch.tv/KindaFunnyGames. We run you through the nerdy news you need to know about. If you're watching live, you can correct us when we get stuff wrong by going to kindafunny.com/you're wrong. If you don't want to watch live, you can watch later on youtube.com/KindaFunnyGames, roosterteeth.com, or you can listen later on podcast services around the globe by searching for Kinda Funny Games Daily. Remember, you can use Epic Creator Code Kinda Funny on all Epic Store and Epic in-game purchases like Rocket League and Fortnite to help support the channel. To be a part of the show, to patreon.com/KindaFunnyGames, where bronze members or above get to write in, and silver members or above get the show ad-free with the exclusive daily post show. Housekeeping for you, our 4-way Sifu race is up right now. It is me, it is Tim, it is Barrett, and it is Andy going head to head in a race to beat every single boss in Sifu. It comes down to the wire, so you don't want to miss it. You can catch that right now on youtube.com/KindaFunnyGames.
I just want to say, Bless, that was some of the best content we've ever fucking made. I am
1000%.
so proud of it. It was so fun. I can't believe it actually came down to the wire. Like, it was so much closer than I expected it to be. It worked so much more flawlessly than I expected it to, technically, because we had 4 gameplay feeds, 4 camera feeds. It was insane. Kevin Coelho is a genius on the boards. But despite all of that, there were some technical issues with the upload. So it got uploaded. It didn't it wouldn't process. It got caught in YouTube hell. It was a whole fucking thing. So we had to re-upload it, which is going to cut the views and cut the algorithm. And I'm really upset about that. So everybody, please go show it some love. It's on the youtube.com/KindaFunnyGames channel. Because we're like, this is so good. We're promoting it to the main games channel, not the plays channel. So please go show it some love and let us know what other games you'd want us to try that with. Because I think it's a really, 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 really cool format.
1000%. And yeah, like you say, it's one of the best pieces of content. I think it's some of the most fun content I've been on. Like actually being on the content and like being fucking like locked in to I am going to beat this game faster than these guys. Like I am not gonna let these guys catch up to me. And I'm not gonna spoil it for people who haven't seen it. Go check it out. It is such a fun time. And yeah, like let us know what else, what other games you want us to do that with. What's up, Kevin?
This weekend, Barrett put a message in Slack that had all the times, and the note that he put for Tim's is so good and so honest and so true, and it made me laugh so hard.
It was really good, but also like seeing those.
I'm impressed with my showing. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's the thing is,
I was
surprised myself.
The pressure
Like-
got real, and you kept it going. You know what I mean? You pushed through.
Yeah,
I'm
you
proud of
kept it poised, and like here's the thing, right? We went from struggling so hard with Sifu. Like I remember day one of me playing Sifu and me going, "Oh shit, this game is actually hard." They did not advertise this game as being hard. And then like texting you guys during the review period, like trying to help each other out, and like you being like, "Dude, I don't know if I'm gonna get past this first level," right? Like Andy being like, "Man, I don't know if I'm gonna beat this game by the review." Like us struggling with it to now us beating it in under an hour.
So
Like how
tight.
crazy is that? How good are video games?
Video games are cool, man. Let's talk more about them.
Let's talk more about video games. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Gordon McGuire, Fargo Brady, and Pranksy. Today we're brought to you by Upstart, ExpressVPN, Chime, and Babbel, but we'll babble on about that later. For now, let's begin with what is, and forever will be, the Roper Report. It's time for some news. We have 5 stories today.
Baker's dozen.
Starting with our number one, Forspoken has been delayed. This comes directly from the @Forspoken Twitter account, where they tweet out a message from the #Forspoken development team. The message reads like this: "We've made the decision to move the release date of Forspoken to October 11th, 2022. Our vision for this exciting new IP is to deliver a game world, and hero that gamers across the globe will want to experience for years to come. So getting it right is extremely important to us. To that end, during the next few months, we will focus all of our efforts on polishing the game and can't wait for you to experience Frey's journey this fall. Thank you for understanding and for your continued support. We look forward to sharing more about Forspoken with you soon." Tim, is this one that surprises you?
So Forspoken is a very unique video game to me because I don't think there's ever been a game that I have been this interested in without looking into it at all. I remember we saw the first kind of trailer showcase or whatever it was. I think it was during one of the state of plays. And I was really taken aback by how much I enjoyed the voice actress and the way that she was super casual and she talked like I talk. Like it
Yeah.
was a little bit more kind of just like chill, like dude speak. And I haven't really seen that done well in a video game. And I know a lot of people seem to not vibe with it. And I was kind of an outlier on that. But I was always like, I'm interested in that. It's also Luminous Productions, which the engines they use and just the style of game and stuff, they're gorgeous and look really smooth and fun. And I like the idea of it's not Final Fantasy, but like it has elements, but it seems a little bit more modernized. All that stuff
Mhm.
speaking to me in a way that I'm like, I'm very interested in this game and I hope that it's good. Gary Whitta's writing it. I love Gary Whitta. So I'm like, all of that stuff I'm very excited for. As things started coming out, it didn't seem like it was the most positive conversation from previews and all that, but I didn't even look into them. I didn't watch anything. I was like, I'm just going to see. But I will always say that a May release date always felt too soon for me for this. Like it felt like it's just not quite there yet without me even looking at the stuff. So this getting
Just from
delayed
like
to
a
October.
gut feeling, or
Just the
from like
gut
seeing
feeling,
gameplay?
just
Okay.
gut feeling, the word of mouth from what I did hear from the preview, which I think you were even the one that was
Yeah.
telling me that you weren't vibing with it too much, right?
Yeah. Like I went to that preview, and yeah, I came out of it kind of feeling unsold on the game, and not unsold in the way that like it looked demonstrably worse or anything like that. Unsold from, okay, I've seen this game what 3 or 4 times now, if I'm including the trailers and the reveals and stuff, and there's not anything more that's hooking me beyond what you're talking about in terms of Frey, the main character, being this character that's from modern day that gets transported to this old fantasy land and kind of has to acclimate and go off on an adventure, right? Like I think that is such a cool concept and such a cool premise for the game, but everything they've shown delivering upon that premise doesn't feel like it delivers upon it in like an interesting way.
Yeah. See, that's a bummer. I don't like hearing that. But hopefully, I mean, I don't think that a pushback of a couple months is going to fix that problem necessarily, but
Mhm.
I'm still hopeful. I'm hoping that this game like kind of speaks to me in a way that it might not to other people just because there are enough elements going into it that I'm like, I'm here for it. But the delay does not surprise me. I'm actually kind of stoked about it. I think that May is a little too early for it. So October 11th, let's go.
Yeah, I think like I mean, delays as a whole, right? Usually a good thing because it gives developers more time to work on a thing, and it helps the idea that okay, the game isn't going to come out at a broken state, right? Like we have the willingness to move if things aren't prepared. I think I when it comes to Forspoken, right? Like I think the thing that I want to see more and I want communicated, and maybe this is the thing that they're trying to figure out is I want to know where the fun is, right? Like what is it about the gameplay loop that is going to get me enthralled with it, right? Is it the Horizon Zero Dawn or Horizon Forbidden West style like quests and like meeting characters constantly and like good feeling combat? Like, is that what I'm going down? Is it the Elden Ring? I'm gonna explore right at my own pace and take in the world at my own pace. Like, what is it, Monster Hunter style, where it is, hey, there is one core location and you go out to complete quests and then bring back things to the village, right? Like, I don't think they've communicated that aspect of it well enough. What they have communicated is the setting, and they've communicated the story setup. And in the gameplay stuff that they've shown, it's been very much, hey, look at this, look at this traversal, like the locomotion looks really cool, which it does look really cool, right? It is, you're basically like flying through the open world, which looks dope as hell. And then they've shown combat, right? And the combat seems very magic based. It almost seems like it's a Final Fantasy game that's not a Final Fantasy game. But
Yeah,
I
it
kind of
seems
need more from it, I guess. Like I want to see them really nail down, like, hey, this is what a day in Forspoken looks like, where it is you talking to characters. These are the other characters that are in the world that you're gonna fall in love with, right? Here's the relationships that you have with them. Here's the quest system. Like, I want to see more of that stuff, and I feel like they've not given that.
yeah, and like I said, I've been kind of staying away from it just because I was kind of initially sold, and I'm like, we'll see how this turns out. But I've always gotten the vibe that it was a little less open world, and that kind of spoke to me a bit more. Like the focus on the locomotion and traversal and stuff, like kind of makes me think that it's going to be a little bit more linear, like not fully linear, but like more linear, more like a Final Fantasy 13 than something different. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping that we get something like that from it, because like that is definitely what I want. I do not want the Horizon. I do not want it to be this like giant crazy ass like go out and do quests for every single motherfucker on the planet thing. But if it's that, hey, hopefully it's for someone else, but it probably won't be for me then.
I definitely feel that. My question for you then is, where are you at with Square Enix? Because Square Enix, I feel like, has been in an interesting place the last few years, right? Like when we're talking about releases, at least releases coming up, right? You're talking about Final Fantasy 16, you're talking about Forspoken, and I feel like we don't have, I guess, much on the horizon beyond that, right? I think you probably have like small games here and there. Like I'm opening up their Wikipedia right now as I speak, right? And like there's Project Gemini from People Can Fly that's coming through. There's like Just Cause Mobile, Tomb Raider, Hitman Sniper, The Shadows, right? Like these mobile games that are coming out. But then we're also coming off of like Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy that got good
Which I
reception.
loved.
Yeah, which was awesome. Life is Strange Remaster Collection, which had some issues. Outriders, which like came and went, right? I don't think that one was like great, but it wasn't bad. I think that had like an okay launch. Marvel's Avengers, and this is just purely from the Western side, right? But then you bring it to the other side, and you're looking at Star Ocean coming out sometime in 2022. Like I said, Final Fantasy 16 Forspoken about to come out. But then when you oh, and also Stranger Paradise Final Fantasy Origin, didn't mean to leave that one
That's
out.
right.
But that one's on the horizon too, and that's one that I know people are shaky about in terms of like, hey man, it's Final Fantasy, it's going for the Team Ninja Neo kind of approach in combat. We'll see about it. But then you're also coming off of Babylon's Fall just releasing and being terrible. We're coming off of let's see, Neo ends The World Ends with You, that came out last year, right, which had decent reception. Then we also got Balan Wonderworld a year ago. It seems like there's such a spectrum of quality coming
Yeah,
out of Square Enix right now.
I think that it's Square is interesting because they are one of the only, and I mean, honestly, like come to think of it, they might be the only of the third party publishers that has such a strong Japanese wing and Western wing, right?
Hmm.
Where they, because of them having Eidos and Crystal and all of them, they're able to put out these very different games than what we used to ascribe to a Square Enix, which is like the Final Fantasy, Dragon Warrior, all that stuff, right? So I think because of that, we're getting varying degrees of quality on both sides. So there's good and bad of both
Hmm.
the Western and the Japanese. So I think that they're a little bit inconsistent, and they haven't always been. They used to be very, very, very consistent. And then that was a long time ago, though. And
Long
then
time
it
ago,
started,
yeah.
yeah. So where we're at now, it's like I think that we can't look at it as Square as a whole. I think we need to kind of look at the individual
The
development
development
teams within
teams.
it, right?
Yeah.
And I think they're like what makes me excited about this is like this seems to be parts of the team from Final Fantasy 15, which while not a perfect game, was very enjoyable. So it's like I think that they can learn from that and kind of like do something special with this. I don't know that it's going to achieve that, but I will never fully count Square out because of Final Fantasy VII Remake. The game came out and it was amazing. So that blows my mind that actually happened, you know?
Yeah.
So hopefully we get a remake part two at some point soon ish,
When do you
eventually.
when do you think?
I
Like
don't
Final
know.
Fantasy
I'm
16.
surprised.
Where are you at with Final Fantasy 16? Is that coming out next year? Like, do you think that comes out soon? And if so, where
I
does that put
mean,
7 Remake 2 for you?
I'm pretty sure Final Fantasy 16 is supposed to come out this year, right? because it got delayed. They were supposed to talk more about it in like January, and then they're like,
Yes.
"Hey, we need a little
They're
bit
like,
more
we'll talk about it
time,
later. I'm
but we'll talk about it."
consulting. Hold on, I'm closing my eyes. I'm consulting Blessings Super Fun Game Release Calendar 2022. I'm being told that it doesn't have an official release date at all for 2022.
Gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha.
but maybe that's
I
been the rumor, right? That's been the talk. Is like, oh yeah, this game could come out this year, but I don't think they've said it out loud.
is that right? Let us
According to the
know.
Super Fun Games release calendar up here in my brain.
Yeah. Okay. 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 I seem to remember a 2022 date on Final Fantasy 16 at some point, but I could totally be off on that. But whatever. They did say that we're going to be hearing about it soon, so I imagine we're going to hear about Final Fantasy 16. Ooh,
Kind of funny.
maybe
What?
in one of the upcoming news stories.
Maybe we can talk more about that in story number 2, which is PlayStation is reportedly planning to hold its next showcase this month. This is Andy Robinson at Video Games Chronicle, and also like kindafunny.com/you're wrong if you have a source for like Square Enix saying that like the game is coming out in 2022. Sony Interactive Entertainment is planning to hold its next digital game showcase this month, it is claimed. That's according to multiple sources who told Game Reactor that the PlayStation parent had been planning a state of play live stream for this week. However, it is claimed that SIE has been facing calls to delay the event due to the ongoing invasion of Ukraine. Quote, some developers who are set to show off their games in the show, and even some at PlayStation Studios, have asked for the show to be delayed because they don't want to take the spotlight away from the awful stuff happening right now, the publication claims. They continue, quote, this has allegedly led to talks about delaying it a week or two, but at least it sounds like we'll be getting some very exciting announcements from PlayStation and its partners before the end of March, end quote. Sony's upcoming exclusives include God of War Ragnarok, Final Fantasy 16, Forspoken, and Ghostwire Tokyo. Tim, you think there's a chance we see Final Fantasy 16 at this rumored state of play?
I think that there's a very good chance we see it. I don't think it's a guarantee, but with the fact that we have consistently seen Final Fantasy 16 at PlayStation events, whether it was the PS5 showcase or whatever they did, or state of plays, they told us that we were going to get more info, and that info got delayed into what I think was this time period. I seem to remember it being a little closer to April, but we're close enough. I can imagine that happening. I think that could go down. I think that it makes sense for a state of play, right? We got through Horizon, we got through Gran Turismo 7, so now it's like cool. Let's keep the ball rolling here with PlayStation, and like let's get the next kind of round of announcements out there, whether it's like release dates for things, a little bit more promotion and hype around things like Ghostwire Tokyo, and then kind of giving us a better idea of what the rest of 2022 looks like. These insiders here are talking about there being some announcements. So it's like, that's exciting to me of like, what don't we know about, right? Like, I feel like there are a ton of PlayStation first party studios that we know what they're working on. Like, we know that Ragnarok is imminent at some point. I'll even go as far as saying like, I hope we don't see more Ragnarok here. Like, I feel like the next time we see Ragnarok, I want it to be a full on, here's a date, we're ready to go. Boom.
Yeah.
I don't want God of War to get death looped. Speaking of death loop, wouldn't be surprised if we see some DLC potentially for that.
Ooh. Yeah, I never thought about Deathloop DLC, but I think that's a good one to throw out there.
But yeah, then you start looking down the line there, and it's like, okay, we got Insomniac, we know we got Spider-Man 2, we know we got Wolverine. I don't think we're gonna be hearing about. Go for it.
Do you think we'll see those levels of announcements? Because like I'm right there with you in terms of what is on the horizon, no pun intended, for PlayStation, and what like they can talk about. I feel like over the last, I'll say, year of state of plays, I've been so conditioned to not get excited anymore, because like I'll pull up like their last state of play. I think this is the last one from October last year, and this is the one where it was Deathverse, Let It Die, We Are OFK, Bugsnax, Isle of Big Snacks. Right? Isle of Big Snacks, Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, Death's Door coming to PlayStation, Kart Rider, King of Fighters, First Class Trouble, Star Ocean, and then that one is the one that ended with the headliner, Little Devil Inside. I feel like state of plays have been played down a bit in terms of the size and quality of announcements to expect there, right? I think the chance for us to see Final Fantasy 16, or 16, especially since it's a PlayStation exclusive, would be for if they announced hey, this is a Final Fantasy 16 state of play, like they did for Horizon last year, right? Because like that is something that they can hype up, they can use it to advertise it. But for how they've been treating state of plays lately, I don't know. Like I feel like it might be another, hey, here's a bunch of games that are either indie or low key that we just want to promote.
Dude, it totally could be that. The thing with PlayStation State of Plays is I don't think there's enough consistency yet to make any type of assumptions,
Mhm,
especially with where we're at in the PlayStation 5's life cycle and how inconsistent these State of Plays have been over the last 3 years, I'll say, right? Where you sometimes there is a banger, sometimes there's just one banger amidst a lot of kind of mid or less announcements. Like it's
mhm,
very wildly inconsistent. What I do think we have going for us into this one is the fact that the Gran Turismo and Horizon are out now. Both of those games did get their own state of plays, right? So it's like
mhm,
now that that's kind of out of the way, I think we're kind of in this like different uh era of the PS5. And I think that there's a lot of games that are announced that I'm pretty shocked are announced already, like Wolverine and Spider-Man 2, right? Like the fact that we know what a lot of these teams are working on so far out is interesting, but it kind of like quells the theorizing. And we're not out there
mhm,
like kind of like wondering like, oh, is this going to be here? Is this going to be here? I think it's safe to say Wolverine will not be here. Spider-Man 2, they could surprise us. I don't think they're going to
mhm.
at this state of play, right? But then you start going down the list of like what else has been announced that's PlayStation adjacent that would make sense. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake.
Yeah, I could see that, right? Like, there's a lot of potential for like what could be talked about, and I'm looking now because there was somebody in chat that mentioned like, does the report say it's a state of play, right? Like, is it or is it just an event? And part of the report here is saying that like, let's see, the sources told Game Reactor that the PlayStation Period had been planning a state of play live stream, right? So it is state of play specifically, and so like that causes me to temper my expectations. That said, if I'm throwing those expectations out, there is a lot to talk about for PlayStation. God of War Ragnarok, if that really is this fall, and if PlayStation has been going business as usual in terms of what their cadence has been, right? Like their thing has been doing these big events in the fall, right? Last fall we got the big PlayStation event I think that was where we got Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake announced and Wolverine and Spider-Man 2 and all this big stuff. You can't hold God of War for that if God of War is out this fall. And so like you got to find a place to talk about it, right? They could do a PlayStation blog, they could just drop on Twitter, right? They could do a God of War specific state of play. But I think where when you have a lot you can talk about, like God of War, like Spider-Man, like Star Wars, like the unannounced projects, right? Like what has Ben working on, what is Sucker Punch working on, what are all these studios working on? I could see it. I could see it happening. I would love to get more information on Knights of the Old Republic.
Plus, here's the thing.
What's
There's
up?
something I can't believe we haven't said yet. And as I'm thinking it through, it's the most 100% slam dunk. Of course, they're going to do it. And
Oh,
then
hit
it's
me with it.
also they wouldn't do it here because PlayStation doesn't do this in state of plays, or at least they haven't before.
Mhm.
Spartacus.
God, yeah, like I had that like when I was putting together the story, I had that in the back of my mind, and I totally forgot about it until just now. Thank you for bringing that up, Tim. That would be fascinating, and I could very much see it, right? Because I think the rumor has been April-ish, for launching Spartacus, right? We're getting a little bit deeper into March right now. We're seeing there was a story that I don't know if they talked about it on KFGD earlier. I do have it for PS I Love You, but there's a story now of like when you're buying. I believe when you're buying PlayStation Now, it's coming with PlayStation Plus, or vice versa. I'm not sure which. KindaFunny.com/you're wrong. It seems like they're starting to build those blocks, right? You had
Yeah.
Shadow Warrior 3 also launching day and date on PlayStation Now, which is a thing that's never happened before. I could see it. Like it would be the right time to talk about it.
So here's the thing though. It is the right time to talk about it. There has been a lot of little hints here and there of like things changing on the back end and like, we know that it's coming, quote unquote. So we're
Yes.
starting to look for the evidence and it's popping up. There is a lot of things being found that like point to, okay, this is actually happening at some point soon. The thing is they don't talk about this type of nitty-gritty service shit in state of plays. Like they
Hmm.
just don't. They haven't yet. They could at any moment just do that, but they haven't yet. But when they did the PlayStation PS5 meeting or whatever the fuck they called it, they
Yeah.
did the PlayStation Plus collection thing, right? And they did that type of announcement within the whole thing, announcing a whole bunch of games and stuff. So if I were Sony, I would make a huge deal out of Spartacus, and it needs to be a big rebrand. And it's like, yo, we're doing it right this time, and here's what we're doing, and all eyes on this, and treat it like a major announcement. Knowing how Sony does this type of stuff, I don't think that's going to be the case, and I can see it more as just a blog post.
That's my thing is, yeah, I think there's half a chance that happens as a blog post, half a chance that like they reveal it here and then you just get the blog post afterwards with all the nitty-gritty details that you want. I think you make a good point in terms of state of play being something that it seems like they're still figuring out. I wouldn't be surprised if PlayStation has seen feedback and seen like read through comments to try and figure out like, all right, how do people feel about state of play? Because I've not seen a super positive response lately. And that might be
Yeah,
a
but
thing
that's
that
because
PlayStation doesn't care about, right? Like that might
yeah,
be a thing where they're like, hey man, this is what we want it to be, and so this is what state of play is going to be, right? We just want to promote these games that we haven't had the chance to promote in a bigger that we don't have a chance to promote in a bigger way because we're not doing E3, we're not doing PlayStation Experience and all these other big things, right? That is what state of play is. I could see on the other hand them going, all right, what if we try to beef it up? What if we try to do something with it, right? What if this could be a good avenue for us to talk about Spartacus?
it should be.
Um, it should be, right? Tradition would dictate that it's not going to be, but I think it'd be a great way to do it. I think that'd be a banger announcement.
Yeah, that's interesting, and there's so many rumors circulating too when you start to like break down like what are the unknowns and what are the rumors of the where there's smokes there might be fire, and it's like cool. There's been the infamous rumors, there's been the Sly rumors. I think it might be early for that, but at the same time, depending on the scope of those projects, maybe not. Right, like
Mhm.
if it is just remasters or if it is whatever the hell it is, I can see maybe some type of announcement coming from that. It's been a while since I mean, it hasn't been a while, but in video game time, since Ghost, what's Sucker Punch up to? Right?
What
Like
is Sucker Punch up to, Tim?
what is Sucker Punch up to? What is Bend up to? And what is Blue Point up to? Bless.
Mm,
What are they
mm.
doing? They did Demon Souls.
We
It
we
is
just
out.
we just got Demon Souls, right? That was what
We
20.
didn't
That was 2020.
I know, but like think about the cadence at which Blue Point releases games, right?
That's a good
Like you
point. Yeah,
start looking at it and like
Shadow
how when they
Colossus
announce
was
games.
2018. Wait, no, that's impossible. No, that lines up, right? 2018, beginning of 2018. We got Demon Souls end of 2020. So you're talking about like 2 years right there, man.
Yeah, but I'm talking about announcement though. I'm not talking
Yeah,
about it coming out. So I'm
yeah,
saying
and
I think
yeah.
we're
I'm right
due.
there with you.
I think we're due for some of that shit, man. So
What is Team Asobi up to?
oh my God, what's Team Asobi up to?
Man,
Yo, that is a fantastic question that I really hope we get an answer to. I want an Astro Boy so bad right now, bless you don't
yes.
understand. I actually
I
booted it up this weekend just
the
because I wanted to feel something again.
like a quick tangent, right? Like the other week I was hanging out in a stream talking about like my GG list of like some making lists of my favorite games. I think it was Emma Watkins Jr. that came through and was like, oh yeah, like I made my list on GG and I started looking at his list to judge him, right? Emma Watkins Jr. one, amazing taste in video games. He has some quirky stuff in there, but overall
Love
great
that.
taste. But like in his top, I think 10, maybe top 20 or something, he had Astro's Playroom in there, and I was like, fuck man, yeah, like I can see it. That is such a quality experience, right? Like
I
it's
love
short,
it.
it's a tech demo, but like it's magical. My one thing with Astrobot and Team Asobi is that with PSVR 2 coming soon, soon in quotes because who knows what soon means, but with PSVR 2 coming, I think they're probably gonna make Astrobot Rescue Mission 2 for PlayStation VR as opposed to another console game, which like
Bless.
is exciting, but also bums me out because I do want to see what they can do just on a pure console with a full game. But
Yeah.
my mind tells me they're working on something VR.
I've never played Rescue Mission.
Tim, do you own a VR?
I don't.
Do you want my VR?
I need to figure my life out. Maybe you know what I'll do, and this is stupid, but I'll wait for PSVR 2 because I hopefully they have like the fancier shit, and then even the first game will look better on it if it's backwards compatible. Making a lot of assumptions here. Do you think we
Mhm.
see PSVR 2 at this thing?
No, I don't think it's the place for it. I think PSVR 2 will be its own presentation or blog
Yeah.
post. And I don't think it's God. I'm gonna eat my words because I feel like this has been happening a lot. Well, I think it's been happening a lot with Greg, where he eats his words. I've been predicting shit nonstop, and so uh, but like I don't think PSVR 2 is for sure this fall yet. I think we're getting closer and closer for like them feeling comfortable enough to make it happen because we've been getting more PSVR 2 announcements and them kind of doubling down on like that same release cadence or marketing cadence that they had with PlayStation 5, where it was, hey, here's us revealing the logo at the thing at the beginning of the year, tech event. Tim, you know what it is. The one in Vegas.
CES.
CES, yeah. Here's us revealing the logo at CES. Here's us doing a blog post. Here's us like they had a specific cadence with PS5 that it seems like they're following exactly to the T with PSVR 2, which makes me feel like they think PSVR 2 is coming out this fall. Um, and so the more they stick to that cadence, the more I'm like, all right, I can see it. But I'm also like, not that many PS5 consoles are out right now. Like, do you really want to launch PSVR 2 right now in this climate where things are so hard to make and the chip shortage is probably going to make it even harder to make PSVRs? I don't know, but either way, I don't think we see it at this thing.
I am such a broken person, and this is just such evidence of the way that Tim Geddes' mind works that
Mhm.
I don't think anything could have possibly gotten me more excited for PSVR 2 than this moment right now of me thinking about playing Astro Boy or Astrobot
Astrobot.
Rescue Mission on PSVR 2.
Hell yeah. Dude, Tim, when I tell you that Astrobot Rescue Mission is a 10 out of 10 video game,
And that's what
like
I'm saying.
the best
Everyone be
VR game
saying
I've
this
played.
shit.
It is
Oh,
fantastic, especially for you as somebody who loves Mario. It is
that's the
Mario in
you
VR.
you're telling me I remember a long time ago. I
Mhm.
think it was the first time when you came for Up and Comer Week. We were doing a show together, and you're like, Tim, it's like Mario 64, but like modern in VR. And I'm like,
Yes, it's like
I
that
can't
for
believe it.
for VR, right? And like not 64 in terms of the exploration,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
like
yeah.
it is still VR, but in terms of like the charm and the quality and like shit, I can do this in VR. It is 1000% that, and I know for a fact you would love it. And so
Yeah.
listen, I
Okay.
can deliver this thing. Right, I got my VR. It's been in my closet for like a year and a half now. I can deliver it to you, Tim. Just say the word. It's
No,
yours.
no, I'm telling you, I gotta wait. That's the
But
thing.
like you're gonna be waiting years.
I want the highest quality possible. Do you think got OLEDs in those things?
I don't think they.
I don't think
I
so.
don't know.
I don't think they
I'm
do.
not paying attention to the screen like that. I assume not though. But hey, we'll have to wait and see when Tim is gonna get PSVR 2. Do you know what you can get right now though? You can get
Mm.
patreon.com/kindafunnygames where you can go to get the show ad free. And speaking of ads, let us tell you about our sponsors.
Shout out to ExpressVPN for sponsoring this episode. If you've ever been on the bus or the train with someone who's taking a phone call on speaker, you know that everyone who can hear them now knows a bunch of their private business. Using the internet without ExpressVPN is basically the same thing, so don't be that person. Did you know your ISP knows every single website you visit, and then they can sell that information to ad companies and tech giants who can use that data to target you? Well, ExpressVPN creates a secure encrypted tunnel between your device and the internet so people can't peep in on your online activity. The best part of it is how easy it is to use. You just fire up the ExpressVPN app and click a button on any device. I've been using this forever. Kinda Funny's been staying safe on the internet with ExpressVPN, and they're right. It could not be easier to use. Secure your online activity today at expressvpn.com/kindafunny and get an extra 3 months of ExpressVPN free. That's expressvpn.com/kindafunny. expressvpn.com/kindafunny. Shout out to Upstart. If you've got multiple credit card balances each month and are getting by just paying the minimums, barely making a dent into your credit card debt, it can be pretty dang discouraging. Upstart can help you pay off your existing debt quickly so you can feel like you're finally getting ahead. Whether you're paying off credit cards, consolidating high interest debt, or funding personal expenses, over 500,000 people have used Upstart to get one fixed monthly payment. Upstart knows that you are more than just your credit score and is expanding access to affordable credit. Unlike other lenders, Upstart considers your income and current employment to find you a smarter rate for your loan. With a 5-minute rate check, you can see your rate upfront for loans between $1,000 and $50,000 and receive your funds as fast as one business day after accepting your loan. Find out how Upstart can lower your monthly payments today when you go to upstart.com/kindafunny. That's upstart.com/kindafunny. Don't forget to use the URL to let them know that we sent you. Loan amounts will be determined based on your credit, income, and certain other information provided in your loan application. Go to upstart.com/kindafunny. Shout out to Babbel for sponsoring this episode. There's nothing worse than traveling abroad and looking like an idiot because you didn't bother to learn the slightest bit of the country's language. That's why Greg Miller has been using a little Babbel to learn French to speak to Genevieve. Babbel is the addictively fun, fast, and easy language learning app that has sold more than 10 million subscriptions. Babbel's 15-minute lessons make it the perfect way to learn a new language on the go. Other language learning apps use AI for their lesson plans, but Babbel lessons were created by over 100 language experts. Their teaching method has been scientifically proven to be effective, and you can choose from 14 different languages like Spanish, French, Italian, and German. Plus, Babbel's speech recognition technology helps you to improve your pronunciation and accent, which has been helping Greg Miller be able to communicate with Jen's extended family. Right now, when you purchase a 3-month Babbel subscription, you'll get an additional 3 months free. That's 6 months for the price of 3. Just go to babbel.com and use promo code KindaFunny. That's BABBEL.com, code KindaFunny. Babbel, language for life. And shout out to Chime. Kick off 2022 with a better checking account with no monthly fees, no overdraft fees, no foreign transaction fees, and no service fees. Get all of that and then some with Chime, an award-winning app and debit card. They've also got over 60,000 fee-free in-network ATMs all over the place, like at most Walgreens, 7-Elevens, or CVS's. You can access your money when you need it, where you need it. Make your first good decision of the new year and join over 10 million people using Chime. Sign up takes only 2 minutes and doesn't affect your credit score. Get started at chime.com/KFgames. That's chime.com/KFgames. Banking services provided by a debit card issued by the Bancorp Bank or Stride Bank NA, members FDIC. Get fee-free transactions at any MoneyPass ATM in a 7-Eleven location and at any Allpoint or Visa Plus Alliance ATM. Otherwise, out-of-network ATM withdrawal fees may apply. Sometimes pay anyone instant transfers can be delayed. The recipient must use a valid debit card or be a Chime member to claim funds. Chime.com/KFgames.
One.
Welcome back. We got a couple mid-show corrections for you here, right? First of all, PSVR does have OLED, which I didn't know, and so
PSVR 1 has OLED. Not only does 2
PSVR
have
1.
OLED, 1
Yeah.
has OLED.
Hell yeah. So Tim, just say the word. I can deliver this thing to you right now. And then also I tried to do research on Final Fantasy 16 to see if they ever set a date. And I'm finding here that I don't it doesn't look like they ever set a date for Final Fantasy 16. What they did say is that they delayed their previous announcements from 2021 to spring 2022. And so depending on what you consider spring, is March spring? Who knows? Nobody knows. Nobody figured that out.
I think
there you
10
go.
days are, right?
Listen, if
No,
you ask me about
no.
seasons,
That's April.
I ain't got nothing for you. Is it
Yeah.
April? I feel like April is when
April.
spring starts.
I think it's
'Cause
April
spring break.
20th. Nice.
Yeah. Nice. Let's hop into story number 3. GMG Union wins fair contracts for Geo Media workers. Is it Geo Media or Go Media? This is one of the ones.
March 20th. March 20th.
March 20th.
Yeah.
320.
It's
Sounded cool.
spring, huh?
Yeah.
Is spring break March 20th?
Well, no, I mean, it's the beginning of spring.
I think it's in April, right? But that's like already in spring.
Okay. So it's just spring break because it's like in spring. It's not spring break because it's like.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. That's lame. Anyway, I forgot what I was asking. Oh, is it Go Media or Geo Media? Because I always read it and I never say it out loud.
I've heard hosts on this show do both.
Do both? All right.
Yeah.
I'm going Gobi.
We're gonna. You say you're going Go Me?
Shut your mouth, Timothy. That's not funny.
Don't worry. Just keep going.
Anyway, GMG Union wins fair contracts for Go Media workers. This is Marie Dealessandri at gamesindustry.biz. The Gizmodo Media Group Union has reached an agreement with Go Media after 4 days of strike. The union, representing staff from Kotaku, Gizmodo, Jalopnik, Jezebel, Lifehacker, and The Root, halted work last Tuesday off the back of the expiration of his contracts with Go Media, with whom it couldn't find an agreement concerning a number of issues. The GMG Union announced on Sunday that it has now reached a deal with Go Media, pending a ratification vote by its members. The group won a higher minimum salary for all positions, with $62,000 now being the lowest tier, up from $55K previously. Staff will get guaranteed 3% annual raises, 15 weeks parental leave, and 12 weeks minimum severance. It also won, quote, guarantees against forced relocation for current remote staff, GMG Union said, something that was demanded after a number of AV Club employees, a fellow Go Media publication, left earlier this year after they were given the choice of relocating to Los Angeles or losing their jobs. The GMG Union was also asked for better healthcare for trans employees and won trans-inclusive healthcare with standards compliant with the World Professional Association for Transgender Health. The group was also pushing for better diversity initiatives, with Go Media agreeing to a $45K budget for DEI efforts and a goal of 40% of candidates coming from marginalized backgrounds. On Twitter, Kotaku editor-in-chief Patricia Hernandez talked about a historic win and added, quote, thanks for all the vocal support, all the donations, the tireless work from the bargaining committee, who was toiling away after midnight multiple times this last week. The folks who picketed until their voices were hoarse and their legs hurt, every bit helped secure a fair contract, end quote. Congratulations to the workers over there for Go Media and the GMG Union. That's huge.
It is huge. And man, it just sucks because it sounds like the people over there are just having all rough time always. Like there's very few places I would want to work less than being part of one of these sites because of a lot of different factors. And this sounds like it's going to be a positive to hopefully make some of those issues better.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, right? Like I feel like for the last, I don't even know now, like however many years, what, like 5 years at least. Whenever I check in, there's always like some fight going on, right? There's always something like workers are always constantly there fighting for fair working conditions, and it seems like it's always been ongoing. And so it's nice to see like a huge win like this where they are able to get the things that they're demanding for, and fight for better pay, fight for better health conditions for a segment of their workers, and also like fight for better DEI efforts. Like all that is really good stuff. And so go get them, go media.
Hmm.
Story number 4. Take Two halts, and this is more real world news. Take Two halts sales, marketing, and more in Russia and Belarus. This is James Batchelor at gamesindustry.biz. The list of games firms no longer servicing the Russian market continues to expand as Take-Two Interactive pulls all its activity there. The Grand Theft Auto publisher has also taken similar steps in Belarus, not only stopping all sales of its games, but even preventing them from being installed. Quote, "We have watched recent events unfold in Ukraine with concern and sadness," the publisher's vice president of corporate communications and public affairs, Alan Lewis, told GamesIndustry.biz. Quote, "After significant consideration, last week we decided to stop new sales, installations, and marketing support across all our labels in Russia and Belarus at this time," end quote. Of the withdrawals from Russia so far, this is perhaps the most significant. According to Newzoo data shared with GamesIndustry.biz, GTA 5 is the third most popular game in the country based on monthly active users. It is beaten only by Counter-Strike Global Offensive and Dota 2. Other companies to have pulled out of the Russian games market include Microsoft, Electronic Arts, Activision Blizzard, Epic Games, CD Projekt Red, and Bloober Team. Nintendo has suspended all Russian eShop payments for Switch users, and Sony decided to scrap the launch of Gran Turismo 7 at the last minute. Again, this is another case of like, you know, go get them for like in the previous story it was workers, right? But in this story, it is very much like, hey, put pressure right on the leadership over there at Russia, right? Create reasons for them, or create reasons for there's the people of that nation to feel the pressure to like fight for the leadership to stop this war, right? To end the tragedies that's going on there, and then also hit him where it counts, right? Which in this case also is the economy, in terms of like, hey, stop sales. Find any in any sort of industry, games might not seem like a big thing, it like as an individual thing, right? When it is, hey, video games stopping sales, like what's that going to do for the market? When it is video games, when it is movies, when it is like this united fronts of a bunch of different industries stopping their support to a nation, I think that's where you start to feel things in the economy, and that's where it gets really important. And so you love to see this.
Yeah, unprecedented times, but I love that the games industry slowly seems to be one by one dominoing into doing similar things here. So it's great.
Hell yeah. Now, Tim, who keeps coming to your front door?
A million different people, man. There's construction outside. There's the people have to do gas. I don't know what, something about gas. I'm
Is
like,
there a gas
cool.
leak? Do you need to leave?
Do
Do
whatever
you need
the
to
fuck you
evacuate?
need to do. No,
We can get you out
I
of
don't
there.
know.
I
I
can
swear to
deliver you
God,
on
all
PSR too.
construction is just like, hey, there's a pipe here. We need to move this pipe over here. It's like, why? It's like, well, because we need jobs. We need to do something. So we're gonna move this fucking pipe. Cool. Thank you.
And they
I'm
need your
sure it's
permission
deeper
for
than
it.
that. Yeah, it's a whole fucking thing. Some dude
Dang.
came last week during the Sifu race. It was like, hey, here's a piece of paper. We're coming on Monday. I'm like, do I have a choice? And they're like, no. I'm
No.
like, cool.
I used to get
Great.
the warning when my power shut off mid KFGD. When I say mid KFGD, what, 5 seconds into KFGD, I was just sitting there in darkness, like, well, we're here now. What
That's
you gonna
it.
do, man? Bay Area.
Yeah.
Let's
Gas,
round out.
gas, gas.
Let's round out the Roper Report with story number 5. Glover is coming to Steam. This is Jordan Midler at Video Games Chronicle. 90s platformer Glover is coming to Steam and is out next month. The game is being developed by Puko Interactive LLC, which now owns the license. Glover was first developed by Interactive Studios and published by Hasbro in 1998 for Nintendo 64 and 1999 for PlayStation. I did not know it was published by Hasbro. The PC version of the game will release on April 20th, 2022. Hell yeah, finally, 420. Nice, it's happening. According to its developer, the game is, quote, completely redone from the original source code, that's the N64 version of the game, and improved for modern PCs, end quote. It's not currently known whether Glover will come to other platforms. A post on the Glover Steam page reads, quote, tentative release date is April 20th, 2022. Currently working implementing achievements in trading cards. Once we finish that, it is all systems go. It's down to Glover, one of the magical gloves, to find the crystals, now disguised as rubber balls, and return them safely to the castle. Guide Glover and the balls through 7 magical worlds full of puzzles and hidden surprises. Watch out, the evil glove is lurking in the shadows, and he'll stop at nothing to foil Glover's attempts Glover's attempts at restoring peace, end quote. I've not read the description of Glover in a very long time, Tim. I don't know why that caught me very off guard, but no, that lines up. That is the gameplay of that game.
Yeah, so I never played Glover, which is surprising to me because of my affinity for mascot platformers,
Mm.
especially during that era. And that was back when I was young enough to not really care if the game was good or bad. It was just, it's a video game and I want to jump on things, you know? It reminds me a lot of something I know is near and dear to your heart, Rocket Robot on Wheels.
Hell yeah.
You know?
I mean, they have a lot in common in terms of both of them, at least for a while for me, being rental games, where I would go to the local family video. There are three games I would rent all the time. It
Mhm.
was Glover, it was Rocket Robot on Wheels, and it was Wave Race 64, an actual quality game
Mm,
that I wish I actually owned, but I just rented it all the time. That was my favorite at family video.
of
And I used to
course.
play those games all the time. Glover was one, well, I used to play specifically Rocket Robot on Wheels and Wave Race all the time. Glover, I played a couple times before I was like, all right, I'd rather just sprint the other two. But like it was an interesting game. You know, like
Yeah.
it was that mascot platformer in an era full of mascot platformers. You did play a little glove guy that looked like Master Hand.
Which that was my thing is I was always interested in it because I loved Smash Brothers. So I was like, I remember being at Blockbuster and always being like, 1 week I'm gonna rent this game and I'm gonna beat it. And I just never did. The other one that surprises me is Gex. I never played a Gex game growing
Oh,
up until
Gex was also part of that rental lineup for me, for sure.
back in the PSP like emulation days. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna fucking play Gex, and I played it, and I was like, ooh, I do not like Gex at all. It's a little unfair because I don't know if people liked Gex back in the day or if it was
I'll
just like a
here's what
mid-tier
I'll say.
game. Go for it.
Here's what I'll say, right?
Hmm.
Gex is something we loved similar to how we loved Conquer, where we loved it for the references and like the humor of it. Gameplay for Gex was never good. It was
Gotcha.
always a bad platformer.
I mean, that's the thing with Gex is I was always sold because like, look, let's be real. Geckos are fucking dope,
Yeah,
dude. They're just fucking dope.
100%.
Lizards, they're pretty cool. They're pretty damn cool. And you put a gecko slash lizard slash I don't know what the I don't want Kevin to get mad at me. So I
His
gotta be
name is
careful
his
with
name is Gex, but he looks like a
I
lizard.
that's the thing. It is Enter the Gecko, right? Was this thing? I don't fucking know. But you
Deep
put him
cover
in a
gecko.
little suit, you put him in some sunglasses. Oh, sign me up for a good time. You know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about? Where's Gex at? Give me some
Crazy
Gex.
that little guy grew up to own Geico.
It's
Right?
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
15% or more can save you 15 minutes.
Not all the way around, but you were this so close. You were so close.
My brain was there, you know. It's Monday, it's morning. What can I do, Tim? Or Kevin? What can I do? Tim, I'm very excited to
Mhm.
see the return of Gex the Gecko, but that return is probably just so far away, if ever. If I went and was coming out to mom and grab shops today, where'd I look?
Yeah, there's nothing cooler than Gex, Kev. I'm gonna need you to just Google image search Gex because he looks so damn dope leading up against things. But while Kevin does that, let me tell you about the official list of upcoming software across each and every platform is listed by the Kind of Funny Games Daily Show host each and every weekday.
Do 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 yeah. Now the Gecko or the Gex game that I would play, I think was Gex 3, which might have been called Deep Cover Gecko. Kindoffunny.com/slash you're wrong if chat has a correction on that. I remember the first level of it being this cool ass level where it was Christmas, and Kevin has brought up an image of Gex here. God, Gex is so fucking cool.
He's so cool.
Look at him. He looks like here's the thing, right? I know people come to the show as a family show, right? People don't like to hear us say any bad words. They don't like to hear us allude to certain things. But I'm gonna say it, Tim. I can't be held back. Gex fucks. Look at this guy. Gex fucks, Tim.
I
Am
love
I
him,
wrong?
man.
I
You're
like
gonna
the
look at me
generic-
and tell me that I'm wrong,
Kev,
chat?
Kev,
like
I
this
need you to go
generic
back.
Black Widow woman in the background. You see her outfit? Like
Oh,
that's a Black
that's
Widow
true.
cosplay,
That
right?
straight up is Black Widow cosplay, yeah.
Also,
Go back, Kev.
I don't think this is 100% true. Hold on one second. Is he wearing a gi? No, he's
Oh,
wearing
yeah.
a white tux. No, he's wearing a white tux.
Oh.
You can see the bow tie.
Oh,
Of
he's
course.
off duty. Yeah. I'm
wait.
interested.
That
What's
image
going
of
on
Gex-
with Idris Elba?
Yeah, and Idris Elba. What is that?
You
Was
know.
there like news that we missed that Idris Elba is playing Gex?
He should be the next Gex. Okay, you know what? I agree. That's the type of energy I'm looking for on this Monday, Bless.
That is some Idris Elba is Knuckles type shit. But like
Wait,
I would
Kev,
be down
Kev,
for it.
Go down to the yellow picture, bottom middle. There he is in a gi.
Black belt.
This fucking guy. Yeah, we should bring back
this
Gex.
fucking guy.
We should bring back Gex. I feel like Gex has a lot more to say. But like there was in I think it was Gex 3, I played the Christmas level, right? Which was the first level in the game. And in that level, you would fight Santa Claus as like the boss of that level.
Oh my
and
god.
I remember
Is
loving
Gex
it.
the bad guy?
No, Santa was definitely evil. They made it very clear that Santa was evil.
Oh
He would
no.
throw presents at you, and you'd have to use your tail to whip back the presents.
I think if you were in a fight with Santa Claus, he would definitely throw presents to you at you if whether or not he was evil or not. You know?
1000%. Yeah, but like he had a frown on his face. He didn't look happy. He definitely did look like a sad Santa Claus. Maybe mad. It's been a while. But yeah, he was not friendly for sure. Out today, we got Saffron Fields for Steam, and then Slowclap has announced a new update today that brings a full Mandarin voiceover option to the critically acclaimed Kung Fu game, Sifu, which is really exciting.
Later tonight, I'm definitely gonna do this. I'm gonna play through the first level. I want to see the hallway scene with some
It's like
Chinese.
play through the
That's
whole
dope.
game. You know, you can do it
Yeah,
in
I'm
an
gonna
hour.
fucking
Like,
do
fuck
it. You know, I
you
got
know?
an hour. I got an
You got an hour to spare,
spare.
and you got the skill. Play through Sifu in another hour. New days for you from Jordan Miller at Video Games Chronicle.
dear.
Planet Zoo and Jurassic World Evolution Studio Frontier Developments has announced F1 Manager 2022. The new official management game will be released this summer for PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. And then Sega and Ryuga Gotoku Studio today announced that the Kaito Files, a 4-chapter story expansion for Lost Judgment, launches on PlayStation and Xbox platforms on March 28th. We have one deal of the day for you.
Really quick.
What's up?
I pulled up the Gex.
Oh, the Santa Claus. Yeah,
Santa
like you can't tell
Claus.
me this guy is good.
This is definitely not the real Santa. Notice his bag says laundry, and that's been crossed out, and then they've written toys. Also, not wearing a shirt. He's just wearing like the jacket, nothing underneath. So yeah, this there's no red eyes too. Dead giveaway. He's a bad guy.
Yeah, I think it was the red eyes that sold me when I was a kid. I was like, this guy is definitely up
Not
to
the
no
shirt.
good. I didn't realize he wasn't the real Santa
Chest.
until he pointed it out. Yeah, the shirtless. Here's the thing: graphics weren't great back then, and so I wouldn't have been able to tell you he was shirtless. I was just like, oh yeah, he's just wearing a fucking jacket. That's what Santa Claus always does. But yeah, the pointing out the laundry bag, really good, because I never noticed that too. I never seen him up that close, because when you fight him, it's long distance. You're like across the cliff. I appreciate that, Kevin, doing the Lord's work. Deal of the day for you: Kingdom Hearts 3 is $9.99 right now on Amazon. So there's that. We have a squad up for you here. If it's 2022 and for some reason you're a Kingdom Hearts fan that hasn't played Kingdom Hearts 3, go get it for $10. Squad up for you. Of course, you can write in patreon.com/KindaFunnyGames where you can get the show ad-free, write with your questions, write in with your squad ups, just like Bryan did. Brian Lally writes in with a squad up on PS5 and PC and says, "Hey, Kinda Funny Games Daily Crew. Last year I wrote in on my clean date / sober anniversary asking to play games with the KF community, and I received so many wonderful messages of support and people sharing their own struggles and stories of recovery. As I reached 6 years sober this weekend, I figured I would do it again. So if anyone wants to play games, especially Final Fantasy 14, or if anyone with similar issues is looking for support, please reach out. This community is amazing. Thanks for all you do." Brian, thank you so much for writing in. That is fucking awesome. Congratulations. And if you want to play some games on PS5 or PC with Bryan Lally, you can add Brian with the username Lallysup. That is LALLYSUP. That is on PS5 and also on Twitter. And Brian says it's also on pretty much everything else. And so, hell yeah, go get him. Now it's time for kindafunny.com/you were wrong, where you write in list of what we got wrong as we got it wrong, so we can correct it for those watching later on youtube.com/kindafunnygames and on podcast services around the globe. Not many are wrongs. In fact, the one I'm looking at here is definitely not a you're wrong. It's about Tim's doorbell, but it's information that Tim already knows. You know, yeah, I'm sure you're a techie, Tim. You know all the ins and outs of your doorbell.
I haven't looked at this. Let's see.
He says, depending on your model of doorbell, you can lower the sensing distance to one that doesn't constantly detect every construction person walking by.
No.
Okay.
It's people hitting his doorbell.
Yeah.
Like I saw some people talking shit in the chat about smart homes. And like, not that I'm going to defend smart homes as being perfect, but yeah, it's only when they ring my doorbell. It doesn't notify me when someone walks outside my house.
I'm so mad at those kids.
So is your home a smart home?
Yeah.
I got a smart house, baby.
I was gonna say, I know you've seen Smart House.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not scared? You're not like, maybe I should be doing this?
We're the opposite. We're fully committed.
Fully committed.
Yeah, like we'll marry her
I know
if she wants.
When you get trapped in there and your theater screen starts talking to you, talking about
Good. He's gonna have the time of his life.
you about to go?
DoorDash food over and stuff.
Les, would you believe, and this might be too deep a cut for you, but you've seen Smart House, so maybe not.
Yeah.
One of the first things I did when we got our video wall at Kinda Funny was I put on the Bewitched song C'est La Vie in the back, because that's the first thing that the daughter did in Smart House with their video wall.
It's true.
Okay.
And I jammed
That is a
out.
deep cut. It's been a long time since I've seen Smart House. I was a kid, but
Disney
that
Plus,
sounds
you
cool.
can check it out.
Hell yeah. So can you, audience. If you want to check out Smart House, you can watch it right now at Disney Plus. This week's hosts for Kind of Funny Games Daily go like this. On Tuesday, I'm in a mood today, Tim. You know, I had my
Mhm.
coffee.
I am
This
too, man. We're
conversation
in a good
different.
mood. I
We're
like
in a
it.
good mood.
You did a good job hosting today, Bless. I was listening
Yeah.
while
You
walking
did a
through
great
it,
job
and it was
listening,
great.
Barrett. I appreciate
Thank
it. You did
you.
great.
Great job listening. Round of
Great
applause
job
for
listening,
Barrett,
Barrett.
everybody.
Kevin, Kevin, you get a gold star today. Congratulations,
Aw, shit,
everybody.
yeah. That's my
Hell
first
yeah.
of the month.
Hell yeah. This week's hosts for Kind of Funny Games Daily go like this. On Tuesday, it is Greg and Gary. Wednesday, it is Janet Garcia and Tim. Thursday, it's Greg and Samoa Joe, the wrestler, showing up to
So
host Kind
cool.
of Funny Games Daily with Greg. Yeah, that's happening on Thursday. And then on Friday, it is me, it's Zach Zweisen from Kotaku. So
No
get hyped for
shit.
that. Yeah, dude. Jam-packed
The
week. It's gonna be a
man
great time.
behind the Out Today is going to be on the
1000%.
show.
Yep, man behind Out Today. And let me tell you, last week when I was hosting, I didn't put it together that Kotaku was on strike. Like I knew they were on strike, but like I didn't think about it when I was pulling for Out Today on Wednesday. And so like
Yeah.
I read through Out Today and I was like, all these games seem familiar, and I did not realize that I had pulled a week's previous Out Today from that day because Zach didn't
Wow.
update it because he was out there striking. He was out there doing the Lord's work. And so good job, Zach, but also come back because I need you, man. I was struggling today finding the Out Today. But yeah, hell yeah, it's a jam-packed week. Look forward to Samoa Joe on Thursday and look forward to Zach Zweisen on Friday. If you're watching this live on Twitch right now, after this is Mike, Andy, and Nick doing a Kind of Funny morning show. If you want to catch that stream later, you can subscribe to youtube.com/kindoffunnyplays. Remember, this has been Kind of Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday live right here on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. We run you through the nerdy news you need to know about. We have a Patreon post show for those that are subbed at the silver level of patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. So stick around for that. Otherwise, until next time, Game Daily.